Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another commentary video for League of Legends, this one featuring Gangplank. This is taken from our Tuesday night YouTube event, and in this match I'm going to be playing as Gangplank. Alongside me are Spreakaway playing as Udyr, Donsky playing as Taric, the Duelist playing as Master Yi, and Atomoscore playing as Ryze. Then on the other side are again fans and viewers of the YouTube channel, so we have Nox playing as Tryndamere, KHOP34 playing as Shyvana, Vendor playing as Master Yi, Help Me Please playing as Corki, and Ethan playing as Sona. And just a point of reference for people, we do have some people who are not level 30 yet. The Duelist and Ethan are both, I believe, level 20 something. And the reason for that is, of course, because this is a custom game and anybody who wants to play is always welcome to join, and we run these games every Tuesday night. So before we get into this match, just one or two things I wanted to bring up. I did put up another live commentary just recently on the channel, which was a spectator mode game from this, and I had some good feedback from that. Most people said they enjoyed the game. They just would prefer to have better audio and visual quality, which is true, and I certainly sympathize with that. The one thing is, when I use the live stream, I don't get the same quality on the video. The reason why I put that up there is if I put up the live commentaries from the live stream, I can put more total videos on the YouTube channel because basically they don't involve as much work because I'm just uploading something that's already been done. So I mean, obviously I'll continue doing these videos, which are the sort of post-recorded commentary, because they're higher quality. I can give better commentary on them. But I can put more total overall videos on the channel if I use the live stream from time to time. And I think it's interesting to see the live commentaries too, as opposed to post-recorded stuff. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of both, just because otherwise I can get more overall videos up on the channel. And although it would be great if I had an infinite amount of time and could just record, these commentaries all the time, unfortunately I do actually have to work, guys, and I actually do have to, you can't just spend all my time on this. Okay, so for this game, well, one of the problems with this game going into it was our team comp was a little bit weird because the Duelist wanted to play Master Yi, and he did not want to jungle as Yi. So that kind of meant our team comp was really strange, and we were sort of put in an unusual situation. But we were trying our best to work around him, so we're going to have Master Yi in bottom lane, laning with Donsky's Taric, and so he's just going to be taking sort of the place of an traditional AD carry, but he's going to be playing it with Master Yi, who of course is not ranged. So what that means is I am going to be up here in top lane, so this is a laning Gangplank as opposed to a jungling one. Gangplank you will often see up in top lane as well. I'm going to be up against Nox's Tryndamere, and this is something that I think a lot of people have wanted to see, because of course Varus and I normally play together. He is my duo partner for ranked, and we usually duo queue in bottom lane with AD plus support. So I know a lot of people want to see me play against Varus. I have played against him plenty of times in our custom games when we do practice stuff, but I think for a lot of people, probably going to enjoy this. So I'll get back to this matchup in a little bit. Meanwhile, in mid, we're going to have Atomoscore's Ryze against Vendor's Master Yi, and this is AP Master Yi. Vendor likes to play this for fun. And then down in the bottom lane, Help Me Please Corki, Ethan 801 Sona. Ethan and the Duelist are our two non-level 30 players. Then Spreakaway jungling on one side, and KHOP34 Shyvana jungling on the other side. So Tryndamere, let's talk about Tryndamere. Well, Tryndamere, we've heard, is going to get hit in the next upcoming patch, which should be out right around the time that this video gets posted. Because Tryndamere is one of the strongest champions in the game currently. He is really, really difficult to deal with for a number of reasons that I'll get to in a minute. And I am going to be leaning against Tryndamere here with Gangplank, and this is not a particularly good matchup for Gangplank. So I'll go through and talk about why that is as we go through on the video. Notice Varus is taking some tower shots here. He actually just took a ton of damage right there, and I'm going to go in and try to fight him here, but of course being Tryndamere, he can just spinning slash his way out of that, and I took a lot of damage. So in terms of items, normally people would say, why don't you take cloth armor and 5 health pots if you're going to be up against Tryndamere. That might well be the better option, but I was worried about Nox being faster than me. I thought he would start boots 3 pots, and I wanted to have, I didn't want him to be faster than me. I wanted to have the same movement speed. Of course, the joke was then on me because he started cloth 5, and so that ended up not working out. But that's why I have the boots 3 pots as opposed to cloth armor and 5 pots here. So this is, as it turns out, a really bad matchup for Gangplank in a number of different ways. Now, Tryndamere beats almost everybody in top lane, but this is seen as an especially bad matchup for no, for Gangplank in top lane. Anyway, there's a little action mid, but it looks like Vendor is going to juke out of there and have no real trouble dodging that gank. So anyway, I actually looked at this on the, there's a website called LOL Statistics that goes through and gives you all kinds of stats on different champions, and you can look at which champions have the best winning percentage in the current patch. You can look at which champions do a good job of countering other champions. Some of that is statistical white noise, but as it turns out, Tryndamere actually is listed as one of the worst matchups for Gangplank. He has, Gangplank's winning percentage is something like 5 or 6% lower if he's up against Tryndamere, which is pretty high. So apparently Tryndamere is a counter pick to Gangplank, and so let's try to talk about why that is while I have the time here in the video to go back and forth. Well, due to the way that, I mean, like I said, Tryndamere beats almost everybody in top lane due to the fact that he has infinite sustain on his Q. As long as he builds up his rage, he can use his rage. You can use his rage to heal him. He also deals so much physical damage that I have to sit here at my tower and just sort of, huddle by my tower and try to last hit and try to get as many last hits as possible. All of Gangplank's damage is physical, and Tryndamere tends to do better against physical damage champs than magic damage champs. We'll go back to that in a second. Looks like there's a fight, but nope, looks like everybody's able to escape. So the way that this works is Tryndamere will start auto-attacking. He'll build up his rage to full. When he gets up to full, he will be using, he will have a ton of critical strike chance. So, and if we try to exchange harass, he will just heal himself with his Q. We'll just burn his rage to heal himself. So the way that this lane works is if I try to go out and just fight against Varus Nox, he will spinning slash in, he will use his mocking shout if I try to run away, and then he'll just start auto-attacking me, and it will be crit, 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 crit over and over again. And if he gets even 1 or 2, like right there's a crit. That time he didn't get a crit, but just 2 hits right there, and I lose about 25% of my health. So unfortunately, there's really no way that I can actually go out and fight against Tryndamere. He's just too strong, and he wins this matchup too hard. And so here comes Varus. He's hit 6. Now he's going to try to dive me under the tower. Here he goes, taking tower shots. He's going to use his ghost. I'm going to try to flash away, and right there's his endless rage. So instead of dying on that hit, he's going to be able to make it out, and goes down to, I think, about 50 HP, but was able to dive under that tower successfully. I almost managed to survive that. I actually believe if I had had enough mana to use my cannon barrage, I think I would have survived. I think I would have been able to get the kill and trade, but I didn't have any mana, couldn't use my cannon barrage. So it was pretty close, but wasn't quite able to get that. And Varus able to come out ahead there and grab that kill. So, as I said, Tryndamere really strong, one of the top champions in the game right now. We'll see what happens after they nerf him, but just, again, has infinite sustain on his Q, and Varus is actually about to go back and grab a Wriggle's Lantern. So now he has 2 types of infinite sustain. He has Wriggle's healing, he has armor to defend against me as Gangplank, because my attacks pretty much all do physical damage. I think there's a little magic damage. Yeah, the cannon barrage is magic damage, but that's about it. And so he's going to be not really taking any damage from me, but he's going to be able to do massive damage to me in return. So there it is. There's the Wriggle. So now has tons of lifesteal, has more damage, and at this point, I really cannot fight against Tryndamere because he's just too strong. So this goes back to another thing that I've had requested in videos. People have said, hey, you did a video about counterpicking a lane. That is, what you can try to do if you have, if you can pick a matchup where you just have a champion that beats their champion. People had in a lot of the comments, well, what do you do if you're in a lane where you have gotten counterpicked? So for instance, this is a blind counterpick. We do these custom games with blind picks, so we don't know what the other side's picking. So blindly counterpicked here. Obviously, I would not have picked Gangplank if I had known that I was up against Tryndamere. So what do you do if you've been counterpicked in a lane? How can you try to deal with that? Well, the best way to try to deal with that is to play very defensively and just try to try to avoid getting killed. See right here, this is the danger. Tryndamere spinning slash in. There's the mocking shout, and now crit. There's another auto attack, there's another crit, and oh boom, I've lost almost half my health right there. So again, that's the problem of laning here against Tryndamere. So once I realized that I couldn't trade back and forth with Varus' Tryndamere, early on in the game I was trying to parley him because of course I have range and he doesn't. I was hoping that maybe I can just parley him and maybe I can trade. But that worked right up until I ran out of mana, because if I shoot my parley every 5 seconds, I run out of mana really quickly. So that didn't work. So since then, I've been doing what you need to do if you are in a losing matchup, which is to play really defensively, to try to sit and last hit under the tower. Oh, and meanwhile, we have a fight going on in bottom lane. Right there, the Duelist is going to score a kill, and I was trying to ult into that fight, but placement of that ult was rather poor, and it looks like the fight was over anyway. So our team was actually able to go 2 for 1 there in what won a fight in mid and then went 1 for 1 in bottom lane there. So to get back to this again, if you're in a situation where you're just losing in a matchup, then it's pointless to try to fight. If they can out trade you and just kill you, then it's no point in fighting. Again, Varus has 2 different forms of infinite sustain. So here, maybe if Spreakaway can come up and we can get a jungle gank, we might be able to do something. But if the jungler's not there, then you need to play really defensively. You need to try to just last hit and farm as best as you can. Just let him push to the tower and then try to farm at the tower. Because obviously in this situation, I can't come out and try to fight against Varus' Tryndamere. I'm just going to die if that happens. So I'm going to hug the tower, I'm going to defend, I'm going to try to farm as best as possible. And if we actually look at the farm, I'm at 52 and Varus is at 67. So I'm losing. Clearly I'm losing in terms of this lane. I've also died once under my tower. But by the same token, if I can, sort of minimize the damage, and just look how much damage he does to me. Walk up and crit, and there's just nothing I can do in this lane. Anyway, Spreakaway is going to come in, and he does have red buff here, but again, Tryndamere, you cannot kill Tryndamere in lane. It's almost impossible to do that if he takes cleanse. And Varus, for some reason, did not take Cleanse, which I think he should have. One of the reasons why Tryndamere is so strong, if he runs Cleanse, there's almost no way for him to get out. And, he's back, already has his Rage back up to full again. And remember, every time he auto-attacks, notice how he gets lifesteal back from Wriggles. And then when if he actually uses his heal on his Q, then he'll just be back up to full. See, notice how he's already almost back up to full. Again, there's just nothing I can really do as Gangplank in this lane. So what I need to do is just try to last hit. You can see I'm falling pretty far behind, but my job is to try to minimize the damage as best I can. Obviously I'm not going to win this lane, but there's a big difference between losing a lane, being 0-1 in lane or something, as opposed to being, like 0-5 in lane or something. Meanwhile, we do have another fight going on over here. The Duelist is actually doing pretty well thus far, although here I'm not exactly sure why he's running this direction, as opposed to just backing out. He must be relatively low. There's Spreakaway getting engaged, and Vendor, APE, manages to get the kill there. So a trade 1 for 1 there, as it turns out. I'm actually being able to get quite a few last hits with my parley, and of course I have taken Wriggle's Lantern as well. Tried to go, oh look at that, Varus dancing there, doing the little jig as Tryndamere. I went for the Wriggle's Lantern as well. I need the lifesteal. The armor of course helps quite a bit, and so there we go, there's the spinning slash in, there's the crit, and notice how I'm just forced off the minion line so easily. It also doesn't help that I'm 2 levels behind. So yeah, like I said, losing this lane. And of course it's frustrating when you're losing the lane, but again, you just want to try to lose the lane, as I said, not that badly. Try to minimize the damage. Anyway, some people might... Oh, and of course, the one nice thing about Gangplank is I can keep parlaying for minions, and I do get that 8 extra gold every time I last hit on a parley. So I'm trying to do that as much as possible as well. Now, the downside to this, I'm able to sit here and hug my tower, and that's going to allow me to get in some farm, but while I'm doing that, Varus can go and he can head to other lanes and he can start ganking, as long as so if I sit by the tower, I'm relatively safe, but that does free up Varus' Tryndamere, gives him extra time where he can start roaming the map and putting other lanes ahead. Meanwhile, we have another kill down in bottom lane, and it looks like that was a case where Donsky, the support, went back to base, and the Duelist, the I guess AD carry, if we can call it such, was back here, and that's always a very dangerous time when one of the 2 in bottom lane goes back to base, and we've been identifying that as a situation where people often get in trouble. That's where a lot of kills actually happen in bot, so either you have to be really careful, or you should just both back together in bottom lane. Okay, so here, now one thing that's absolutely critical is you have to be able to last hit at the tower in a bad matchup. So like right here, if I don't do a good job of last hitting, then I'm going to get denied so many minion kills. But hey, I'm actually only down 13, so I mean, yeah, I'm not doing great, but by last hitting at the tower, I'm doing okay. But of course, here is the downside. Notice that because I'm at the tower, because I'm forced to last hit at the tower, Varus can now run around the map and go help people out in other lanes. So he can come down here to mid and put pressure on our mid and start putting pressure on a Tomlin's core. That said, can't really change how I'm playing. I have to continue to play defensively, so I'm actually going to go back right here. And their team's going to go in for this dragon fight. And with my teleport down and my cannon barrage down, which I used in a fight, used in a fight in mid, not really a whole lot I can do to help out this dragon fight, unfortunately. Good news is Varus is not here in middle lane, and as it turns out, the Duelist is actually going to score a double kill there in this dragon fight. And right there, going to continue chasing. And there we go, actually triple kill. So wow, the duelist actually getting out to a 5-2 start. Scoring a triple kill, and then we did take that dragon as well. So we actually went 3 for 0 and took dragon there. Somehow, I'm not exactly sure, but long term this is not looking too great, because even though the duelist is 5-2, he's on 42 minion kills, and Help Me Please His Corki is nearly double his minion kills at 71. So in the long run, that is going to start to be telling eventually. Now here, so while I am trying to farm these minions, Varus is going to start knocking on my tower, and again, there's just not really a whole lot I can do about this. Able to get in some damage on him, but Varus is doing a pretty good job of tiptoeing right around the outside of tower range. And again, he just has so much crit. He just deals a ton of damage. Of course, I have responded by getting more health. Again, remember, I got the Wriggles for more sustain, and now I grabbed the Giant's Belt. This will eventually be a Warmogs, but this will be very helpful for me as well, just because it gives me more total life. I mean, 400 health this early in the game is really a gigantic amount. And again, I'm not really missing a lot of last hits at tower, so I'm keeping myself in this. And that's really what you have to do if you have a bad laning matchup, is just, hey, I can't kill this guy, I don't win this matchup. Oh, and I actually put the Wriggles ward here because I knew I wasn't going to be pushing out very far. But I was worried about Varus' Tryndamere hanging out in the brush and trying to gank me from the brush. So I was actually more worried about this brush than I was worried about people coming up the river, because I'm going to be at my tower most of the time. Meanwhile, we are starting to have some trouble. Unfortunately, the duelist did get killed again, so even though he had that nice triple kill there, he's in a lot of trouble. Here, I'm going to use my ult. Again, I see the fight down here in bottom lane. I'm going to use my ult. This is the strength of Gangplank, the ability to use Cannon Barrage anywhere on the map. Now, it's like, please, just finish off K-Hop so I get an assist here, somebody. And let's see, there's the nice juke, but there we go, gonna get that kill, and now I do get the assist, so yay, I got an assist for pressing R, as is often pretty funny. Anyway, I went back to base right there because I was out of mana. I do have my teleport up, so I can look to try to get into this fight, but it looks like the fight's already over now at this point, and so I'm just gonna head back to top lane instead of going elsewhere. We have lost our bottom tower though, which is bad news. We are still ahead in kills, and look at how much pressure Varus is putting on this top lane. Again, Tryndamere pushed so fast. He's got his zeal. I didn't want to have to use my teleport there, but as it turned out, I will lose the tower if I don't use the teleport right there. And as it turns out, I might lose this tower anyway, so we'll have to see. And as it turns out, yep, I did lose the tower. So again, just needed to get back there sooner. That was a mistake. Should have used my teleport sooner in order to get up here. And yeah, just I am going to get in some free damage here on Varus, because for whatever reason he wasn't attacking me while I was attacking him, and he's actually getting a little bit low here. Notice how he's taking a lot of damage. Look at all these dodge procs I'm getting. I did pick up the dodge boots, so I'm actually going to go after him right here, and there is the slow on my parley. It's unfortunate that my cannon barrage is not up right here, so I'm actually going to continue chasing this. Going to use the raise morale right there. I'm going to hit on my parley, and right there, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to chase that down under the tower. So that was a bit of a shame. I think that if my cannon barrage was up there, I might have been able to get that kill, but as it turns out, not going to get the kill, and so I ended up using flash rather needlessly there. So oh well, it's a shame. Lost the tower, and as you can see, I'm still behind in farm, so I've clearly lost the lane, but as I said, I've tried to minimize the damage as much as possible. And I know I've repeated that 3 or 4 different times in this video, but it's a really important thing to keep in mind. Sometimes you are going to get these matchups that you really can't win, but you can, again, like I said, there's a difference between dying 5 times in lane and losing, and dying 1 time in lane, and, you know, keeping up in farm, okay. Still a little bit behind, but, you know, didn't fall that far behind. Anyway, K-Hop and Spreakway were fighting in bottom lane, so I tried to use my ult to help out there. Wanted to see if that would help Spreakway, maybe manage to chase this kill down. I believe that K-Hop was pretty low here, but as it turns out, nope, not going to be able to get the kill. Meanwhile, now Vender's up here. Vender again playing as AP Master Yi. However, while he'll do very well against squishy champs, he's not going to be that effective against me, just because I think I've talked about this before. Maybe people have seen, if people have watched the live stream, they've probably seen Vender play his AP Master Yi. He kind of has fun with this in our custom games a lot of the time. AP Master Yi works really well against squishy champs because you really can't avoid the damage from Alpha Strike. Like, you can't avoid taking damage from Alpha Strike, so it works really well against squishy champions. You know, it would work really well against Annie or something, but it doesn't work nearly as well against tanky champs. Meanwhile, it looks like their team was going for Dragon, and we tried to get in here, but couldn't get into the fight fast enough, and they're going to chase us away, so their team doing a good job of controlling the global gold. Now, again, I can, as long as I stay in top lane, I can farm, and that's what I need to do, because I need to get more farmed. I can't just be running around the map fighting. I need to spend time in lane farming. But the disadvantage of that is because Varus has pushed over my tower so quickly, he can now run around the map, and he can put a lot of pressure on other lanes. If you might have noticed, he went and took our middle lane tower a second ago, so we've actually lost all of our outer towers now, which is not a good sign going forward for this game. So again, as long as I stay in top, again, the advantage of Gangplank is he does have his global ultimate, he does have his cannon barrage. I can stay in top lane, I can still help out the team. When I have teleport up, I can stay in top and then teleport physically into the fights, as well as using my ult. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and that's sort of my goal going forward right now. So I did a rather poor job of getting those minions there, right there. Do have my Wriggle Wars right here. Once the tower goes down, it's not as crucial to ward the river. It's more important to ward this brush and this brush right here. Those are then the two crucial places to ward once my tower goes down. Because let's face it, I'm not going to be pushing out this far ahead. Once I get there, I'm going to be backing. Meanwhile, another fight going on mid, and I'm going to use my ult right there. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get a kill, and Vender's actually going to tiptoe around the cannon barrage on his way out right there. So again, trying to help out the team, but doesn't look like that was effective in the end. And now Varus has red buff, and that is true terror when Tryndamere has his red buff. There comes an exhaust out on the duelist. He's going to use his summoner heal, and is he going to manage to make it out of here? There is a stun, but the stun kind of needed to go on Vender. Maybe not Varus, and now they're going to go in on him after that tower, and that's going to be another relatively easy kill. So unfortunately, the duelist got out to a great start, falling a little bit far behind. Good news though, Spreakaway managed to go, and he managed to take this bottom tower, so we did get our first tower kill of the game. The problem is they've taken 3 towers, so they are just running wild through our jungle. Again, I'm going to do my best to hold this tower, and feels like the whole game I've just been sitting underneath these towers trying to defend them. So I need to kill the minions, because as soon as the minions are dead, they can't sit here tanking the tower. And, you know, need to just do what I've been doing the whole game, just trying to sit in this lane, farm as much as possible, try to defend. And now I need to ward this spot right here. There we go. So that's why I picked up that ward. Anyway, I'm getting close to Warmogs. I still don't do that much damage, but I'm going to be pretty tanky. Notice I did pick up the dodge boots. That's because I was up against Tryndamere, and I really do wonder what Riot's going to do once they take dodge out of the game as a mechanic, because those dodge boots really do help. They're going to need to have some other kind of boots that give you armor once they get rid of those Ninja Tabby. Or they'll probably keep Ninja Tabby, they'll just change it so it has some different function. Anyway, there's Dragon. Again, their team's going to go for this, and sadly, there's just not a whole lot we can do. We really can't challenge for this Dragon, which is, again, a reflection of them having so much map control. Again, excuse me. Again, just hanging out in top lane, continuing to farm. We're definitely behind in this game because we've lost, excuse me, because they've taken Dragon twice, and they have more towers. But I do actually have the most farm in the game. I do have the most minion kills. I don't have any champion kills, which would be nice. But, you know, I feel like I've played this relatively well. I'm still going to be a very strong character going forward in this game. Even though I've lost the lane, I'm still going to be in a position where my character is going to be something that the other team is going to have to, you know, going to have to deal with. Even though, of course, I haven't made any progress getting this tower. Meanwhile, Varus is getting close to his Infinity Edge. It looks like his BF Sword, Cloak of Agility. He already has the Zeal. And again, he just deals so much damage. Some people might be wondering, okay, anyway, I do have my Warmogs now, so I'm going to start farming that up as well, and then go for the Atma's Impaler after that. And apparently Warmogs is also going to be nerfed in the next patch, so we'll have to see what happens with that. There is a little bit of a fight going on in mid here. Looks like Chaop and Vender exchanging with Donsky the Duelist and Atamos Core. And we'll have to see if anything comes out of that. Our ward coverage is quite good over here, going to allow me to farm in safety over here. And again, I just want to you know, keep farming, try to get my Warmogs farmed up, and to just, you know, wait and try to get stronger and try to make a play happen later in the game. That's really what it comes down to. Their team's ahead. We're probably not going to win unless they make some kind of mistake, so we just need to hang around and see if they make that mistake and see if they give us an opportunity to do something. Because unfortunately, Varus' Tryndamere is just so strong. But right here, it might be able to kill Vender, and Vender's going to go into his meditation, unfortunately. So I'm trying to use my ult to help out, but Vender meditating, and of course his armor and magic resist go up by like 300 or something when he's meditating. So it's not going to be enough to get that kill. And unfortunately, we just went 0-2 in that little fight. Meanwhile, here comes Varus, and that means I have to, my cue to walk out of here. So just Gangplank, yeah, let's get out of here. Bye-bye. Not going to stand around for that fight. Again, can't fight Varus one-on-one. He will kill me. I cannot win that matchup. I need either somebody else on my side helping me out, or actually, yeah, I need someone on my side to help him out. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I need help. Anyway, down here, Spreakaway going to get polished off by Help Me Please, and things are not looking that good. We got those early kills on the Duelist, but aside from that, we really haven't done that much, and their team is out farming ours by a pretty large margin, mostly in the form of the Duelist, because, again, as I said, he does not have as many levels as the rest of us. Now, the Duelist starts a surrender vote here, and again, that's, I mean, we're not in a good position, but I don't think that we need to surrender at this point. Here, Varus starts fighting me, but he is standing there tanking tower shots, and I actually do get some dodge procs there. So I guess I can stand there and exchange if we're underneath a tower, for what it's worth. I do have good sustain as well, thanks to that lifesteal. And on my trip back, I got the chain vest, so I'm stacking armor like a boss because I am really worried about Tryndamere. I am not that worried about AP Master Yi. And of course, Corki. Corki deals a mixture of physical and magic damage. He does have that mat immune, but he's probably going to deal more physical than magic damage. So more interested in getting armor at this point than worrying too much about magic resistance. Now, one thing that might be useful to talk about here, while again we have a little bit of downtime, is why is it that Tryndamere has suddenly became so strong? I know that the forums have been going back and forth over, is Tryndamere overpowered, is he not overpowered? Don't really care about the specifics of that, but he certainly is one of the best champions. So, the reasons why that is, well, the changes that really made him strong were the rework to the Masteries by making the offensive tree so much stronger. It really worked well for Tryndamere. The offensive tree mastery just gives him a ton of stuff that's really good for him. As opposed, it certainly made him a lot stronger than the old mastery trees, where most people went utility spec. Tryndamere didn't get anything from utility spec, so really beefing up the offensive tree helped him out by a large margin. And the Duelist is in a lot of trouble right here. But that's a nice rune prison there from Atomic Course Rise. It's going to allow him to get out of there, although the Duelist did just have to pop his ultimate. And here I am coming down. So offensive trees, the rework to the summoner spells really helped Tryndamere as well. Particularly Cleanse, allowing the ability to cleanse Exhaust and the ability to cleanse Ignite. One of the few things that counters Tryndamere is Exhaust, and Exhaust was greatly nerfed in rework to the summoners. So with the ability to cleanse Exhaust, there's really not a lot of counters to Tryndamere. Made him really, really strong. Anyway, here it looks like their team is coming in, trying to fight us, so I've come down here to help out the team. I can't just sit up in top lane farming. Ethan was in position to get killed right there, but nobody on our team was really able to take advantage of it. And so even though I think we could have engaged on him and maybe gotten a kill, we weren't quite able to. We know that one of them is going to have to go back to top lane, so for the moment we're just defending and waiting for them to, send somebody back to another lane. That would be a good time to try to pick a fight. And it looks like I'm going to grab wolves here. I'm actually going to heal off of wolves with my lifesteal. Notice I'm actually increasing in health by killing them. A little bit funny once you start to stack some lifesteal. Anyway, I do have a lot of regen on my Wormogs too. A lot of health regen there. So again, I'm pretty tanky. And right here, I see that Corki's in top lane. I see Shyvana's in bottom lane. So I'm gonna try to go in and engage. We're gonna try to pick a fight here with Sona, just trying to get the slow. But unfortunately, Donsky not able to get a stun. Spreakaway not able to get a stun. And now once we get out here, we really can't fight. So now we're gonna turn and back. I'm going to give the retreat ping. So I think that was a good opportunity to try to get one of them, but we just weren't quite able to. And now, Help Me Please, pushing in top, so I'm going to have to use my teleport defensively to get up here to this tower. Otherwise, he can probably push over the tower before I can get back there. But so I'm going to use the teleport there and get back here and farm up this minion wave. Here comes Help Me Please. We do have vision on him coming in, so we have to be real careful. Notice that he can come in here sort of behind us, but at the same time, if we're able to go in, we might be able to catch Corki off guard here. And I'm just a little bit slow coming in here, but we just need some kind of stun to come in. And there we go, getting a lot of damage. There we go, over the wall. Donsky is going to hit the stun. Help Me Please going to use the defensive exhaust, and can we manage to finish him off? No, unfortunately, not quite able to. So that was a little bit disappointing because that was a mistake on their part. That was a mistake that could get us back into the game. Help Me Please being out of position there, and unfortunately we just weren't able to take advantage of it. And now here comes Tryndamere. Varus has his Infinity Edge, and wow, is he strong right now. As it turns out, though, they're going to take Dragon, and this is going to be their 3rd Dragon of the match. And, I mean, again, we'd really like to come out and fight for these, but there's just not a whole lot we can do because their team is so much stronger than ours. So they're just sort of slowly getting further and further ahead and starting to pull ahead of us. The good news is I actually have enough now for Atma's Impaler, and I believe I'm going to go back to base and buy it now. And as soon as that happens, my damage is going to go up enormously, and I'm going to be really strong. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's see, 147 up to, come on, 212. Okay, so yeah, I got about 70 more base damage off of that, and my Warmogs isn't even completely farmed up yet. I can still get more, more total health, more health regen, and then more damage via the Atma's Impaler that gives you damage equal to 2% of your maximum health. So I'm quite strong here, and I'm going to be able to help out in these fights quite a bit. So this has worked out pretty well as far as things go. Like I said, if you are in a match where you lose in the laning phase, this is a good way to play things. And we actually managed to go in and engage on Varus Nox there, but wow, look at his damage. Here comes my Cannon Barrage, and right now I'm going to go in on Varus Nox, and right there Donsky is going to hit on the stun. Now he has to force to pop Endless Rage, so let's continue chasing. We need to finish off Tryndamere, need to get him. There we go. Going to get that kill. Now he can turn and go on Vender's AP Master Yi, and there we go. Going to get that kill as well. Now turning on K-Hop's Shyvana, and meanwhile we've got Ethan trapped back here. Rest of the team going to finish that off, and their team has made the mistake that we needed them to make, so K-Hop is going to flash. I'm going to flash after him. I did pick up red buff from somebody, so all my attacks are going to slow, and every time I use my parley, I'm going to get more slow procs, and there we go. We just went 4 for 1 in that fight, and we can go take Baron now. So their team has made, this is what we wanted all along. We needed their team to make some kind of mistake, and they made the mistake we were looking for. They've given us an opportunity to get back into this game. Help Me Please was not with them, and he's a large part of their damage, so we were able to get a 5v4. He's going to be pushing in bot, so we are going to take damage on our bottom tower, but Baron is too important. We have to take advantage of this. Now going to back, Donsky's going to do his best to try to hold this tower, and he is indeed going to force Help Me Please away from this. So nicely done, Donsky. So we do lose our bottom tower, but we went 4 for 1, and we were able to take Baron. So huge swing in our favor in this match, and I was able to pick up, I think I was able to pick up 3 kills in that fight. And again, the crucial thing was getting that Atma's Impaler right before that fight started, and their team just went in and fought, and we apparently had numbers there. And so now I'm going to go and put some pressure on this tower. This is dangerous. We do not have vision up here, but I'm going to take the risk, going to get that tower, and yeah, we are really back in this right now. We've evened up in kills, we've got that Baron buff, and so we're in pretty good shape here overall. We're still, the biggest issue though is notice the farm, 200, 200, 200. I'm equal at 228. Spreak Away, who is actually our jungler, is next highest, and then our solo lanes are just a bit low, unfortunately. Now, unfortunately, Vender able to go in and score a kill on the Duelist, and that is really bad because we just lost our Baron buff off of the Duelist, and he just died again, unfortunately. So that was a real issue, and this Master Yi build is just not good. So apologies to the Duelist. Again, this is the result of just not as much experience at the game as some of the rest of us. Okay, so nevertheless, we have caught Help Me Please here, but he's going to Valkyrie away, and he's going to be okay. So I'm back in top again. Now the next item I picked up was Glacial Shroud. I wanted the cooldown reduction. I wanted the extra armor. Again, I'm not building magic resist, but that's because I'm not that worried about MR in this game. They do have some magic damage. They do have Master Yi, Vender's AP Master Yi, and Corki, of course, does a fair amount of magic damage as well. But still, the more important stat right now is armor. We do have that Tryndamere who has Phantom Dancer Infinity Edge. Oh dear lord. So yes, you can see this is very much not good that Tryndamere is this strong. So yes, I do need armor, up to over 200 now, and I'm quite tanky with all this health. Have I finished out the Warmogs? Yep, I have maxed out the Warmogs. Do have my teleport. So again, I was going to push top and then, use my global, have the Cannon Barrage, have the teleport, but the rest of the team, I'm not exactly sure what the rest of the team was doing. Somebody probably should have pushed out bot a little bit more. But, oh well, in any case, let's see. Going to use Wriggles at Baron. And right now, we still do have our Baron. It's still up for about another minute or so. If we can get them in a fight outside their, outside any towers, wouldn't be the worst time to try to pick an engagement. And Shyvana's not there. Shyvana's not in top. So, we're trying to get a little bit of push onto this tower. And it's not the worst situation in the world to fight, although I am taking a lot of damage there. More damage than I probably should. Still, we had the opportunity there. We do have a bit of an opportunity here. It's a little bit dangerous. It looks like K-Hop is going to be back with the team in a little bit. And right there, able to get a little bit of harassment onto Varus' Tryndamere. So exchange some damage back and forth, but this is not the worst time in the world to fight their team. We do have Baron. We probably want to try to get a fight while we still have Baron, because that just gives us such a huge advantage. I mean, I'm almost up to 300 attack damage with the bonus from that Baron. So we're going to look to try and force a fight, and right there, going to use my Cannon Barrage. We're going to go in. Nice, pretty nice defensive ult from Ethan right there. We're going to blow him up instantly, and Help Me Please is right there. I'm focusing on Varus Nox, and then as soon as he pops Endless Rage, I need to go and try to focus on another target. I'm actually wasting some time attacking Tryndamere while he's on Endless Rage. So we are going to get the kill on him, but then the whole rest of my team has gotten bursted down, and that is a very bad sign. I'm going to eat the oranges, but unfortunately, most of their team is still alive, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to make it out of here. There comes the Valkyrie out from Corki, and again, trying to do my best, but they are going to get that ace. And although we were able to get Tryndamere in that fight, I think we maybe focused him a little too much. Probably spent a little too much time attacking Tryndamere. Needed to switch over targets to Help Me Please his Corki, who is also very strong. I mean, he also has Manamune Trinity Force, Black Cleaver, and he actually scored most of the kills in that fight. So I think it was the right idea to focus on Tryndamere and start attacking him. But as soon as he popped Endless Rage, we needed to switch targets and try to burst down Corki, and unfortunately wasn't able to do that, and then everybody just died. And even though I was able to tank a huge amount of damage, we still ended up losing the fight. And they're going to take a tower mid, inhib mid, and now we need to go for the inhib. We need to see if we can defend this bottom inhib, and our team is mostly revived from that last fight, so we have the chance to pick up some kills here if we can get off our stuns. Again, need to focus Help Me Please his Corki. He is the most dangerous one in this fight to go after. Again, Vendor can use his Alpha Strike, but again, he's not the most important one to focus. And again, it looks like our team's being kited here, and trying to go after Spreakway right there. There is a nice Rune Prison from Atomos Core. There goes K-Hop, and again, here comes my ultimate. Look how low Help Me Please is. We just need to run somebody down. We really need to pick up some of these kills, even though we were able to protect our inhibitor. And there Vendor goes, scoring yet another kill. And he's actually going to, again, Alpha Strike cools down on kills, so he's going to get another kill right there. And now Varus Nox is back in the fight, so I'm going to have to use my flash because he's just so strong, and now he's got the last Whisper, so now he can start to cut through my armor. So that went really poorly. We were not able to kill anyone, even though they all had taken damage from that last fight. And now Atomos Core is out of the base, and against Tryndamere, well, you probably know how this is going to end already. Banshee's Veil going to protect against that first missile, but yeah, so everybody else in the team just died, and that did not work out. So that last fight really did not go well for us. When they got into our base and they were so beat up from the earlier fight, we needed to kill some of them because then we could have counter pushed. Maybe we could take middle tower or something, but we weren't able to do that. Here comes Varus Nox again, pushing another minion wave. And again, the real issue with this game right now is they have 3 people who are incredibly strong. Tryndamere, Master Yi, and Corki are all super strong. And unfortunately, as Gangplank, I can really only tank against one of them at once. You know, I can try to focus on Tryndamere, or I can try to focus on Corki, or I can try to focus on Master Yi, but unfortunately, I can't really deal with all of them at the same time. And again, even though the Duelist did a nice job getting those earlier kills, this is not a good build, and he's Master Yi, so he just gets destroyed by crowd control. And, you know, Spreakaway and Atomos Core just not doing quite enough damage to make up for it. I mean, we're all quite tanky, don't get me wrong. We're all very tanky, but, you know, we just don't do enough damage together to take out their team, whereas their team is doing just massive damage back to us. Anyway, in terms of items, I did turn the Glacial Shroud into a Frozen Heart because the reduction of attack speed is going to be really good against their team. Their team is full of auto attackers. Tryndamere, Shyvana, Master Yi, well, not Master Yi so much, but Corki, I mean, that is very much a team that's based on auto attacking. So the Glacial Shroud aura is going to help out a lot in terms of slowing down their auto attacks, and the cooldown reduction isn't bad either. Then I just grabbed a Negatron Cloak for some magic resist. Again, you can see how I'm focusing on the armor over the magic resist. They're going after Vendor. We just need to get some kind of engagement, but even though we're not going to get Vendor, we did manage to pick off Ethan there. So again, I think that was a pretty good use of Cannon Barrage just to initiate there. Their team was split. There were a couple of them in bottom lane. So while they were split, we're able to turn and we're able to pick off one of them. So if you know, if they try to engage in a big fight right now, we will at least have 5v4 because Ethan is going to be reviving for a while. Unfortunately, couldn't hold that tower. Varus has double buff. Varus now has a Giant's Belt as well, so he's starting to build a little bit more health here. And again, just so strong. Everything just melts before Tryndamere. Just deals so much damage. So I'm going to try to push back this minion wave. Another weakness of Gangplank, again, has a lot of strengths, but one of his weaknesses is he only deals single target damage, except for when he's using his ultimate. So again, gonna farm this minion wave. And I mean, I can sit here and tank this wave all day. You notice how my life bar is not even moving, even with all those minions hitting me. So again, I'm getting a lot of gold. I mean, I've made a ton of gold in this game, but we're still in a ton of trouble just throughout this game. We're in all kinds of trouble. There they are, going for that Baron, and again, we just can't stop them. We need them to make another sort of huge error at this point in time for us to get back into this game. If you remember, they did make one really big mistake earlier in the game that allowed us to go 4 for 1 and take Baron. We kind of need something like that to happen, or we need to score a pick on somebody, get somebody cut off from the rest of the team. And Varus is going in by himself here, but again, the problem with Tryndamere is it's just almost impossible to kill him, especially if he has Cleanse, although Varus did not take that in this game, and I think he probably should have. Right there, able to force a flash onto K-Hop though. So again, we're doing our best to defend here. We're holding the base pretty decently. We have lost a lot of towers. We only have 3 towers left, the one in top and our 2 Nexus towers, but they're gonna have to come in here and take this away from us. And again, I am very strong as Gangplank. It's just the problem is there's 3 people on the enemy team who are just as strong as me. Spreakoy's done a great job of farming, but the Duelist and Atomiscore are pretty seriously underfarmed at this point. If you just look at the statistics, they're quite far behind. And when Tryndamere gets to this point, he's just so unstoppable. Tryndamere's always been amazingly good late game. He has just a tremendous late game, but the problem is when they reworked the Masteries and they reworked the Summoner spells, they gave him a godlike laning phase as well. And that's kind of a problem when someone has an amazing laning phase and an amazing late game phase. Anyway, right there, trying to engage on Help Me Please. Atomiscore looks like he wasn't able to get a Rune Prison there, just able to get that Overload for some damage. And so again, we can't be particularly, we can't really initiate fights at this point. We have to react to them, just try to defend, try to keep our inhibs up, and we're just waiting for them to make some kind of mistake, need them to make some kind of error. Unfortunately, though, their champions are super farmed, and with all those Last Whispers coming out, Last Whisper on Tryndamere and Last Whisper on Corki, now my 300 armor is suddenly not looking so great because they have huge amounts of armor penetration. So let's see, right here they're grouping up. Looks like they want to come for this tower. A good decision because we don't have any towers here defending it. So right here I can see them going in. I'm going to pop my Cannon Barrage. Again, I'm going to focus on Tryndamere. He's the one I'm most concerned about. We can see we're using a lot of our CC, a lot of our crowd control on Tryndamere. So right there, we're doing good damage to Tryndamere. The problem is Help Me Please is also still alive, and he is really killing everyone. So we actually are going to score the kill on Varus there. And right now, I need to get on Corki. For whatever reason, I'm wasting time attacking K-Hop. I'm going to get exhausted here. I'm going to use my oranges, going to use my cleanse. I need to survive this, but no, not able to survive. And unfortunately, just the enemy team just too strong, too far ahead from all those kills. And again, probably could have played that fight a little bit better. Needed to survive that fight. I probably should have disengaged a little bit sooner. If I could have disengaged just a little bit faster, maybe I could have gotten back to the base and tried to heal up and survive. But as it is, we're going to lose all our inhibitors, and that's probably going to be it. Help Me Please scored another kill on Atomiscore there. So yeah, the Duelist is the only one still alive, and, well, he is going to try to Alpha Strike, but that's an ace. And unfortunately, that is pretty much going to be it, because we're all dead, and they are taking down the Nexus turrets, and unfortunately there's nothing we can do. So we were able to kill Tryndamere, but unfortunately that was it, not able to get anyone else. And as the base falls, we're not going to be able to do anything except congratulate the other team on a game well played. So again, let's see, there it goes. So again, congrats to the other team. As I said, was in fact a pretty entertaining game, but just ultimately not able to overcome the fact that they were so far ahead. Alright, we'll finish this one up. Well, the final stat screen shows the difference in the global gold. We actually held our own pretty well in terms of kills. I mean, obviously they did outkill us, but it was reasonably close there. But their team was taking all the dragons, and they did take a Baron. Well, we split one Baron each, and then they took all those towers, all of which feeds your team a ton of global gold. So that really makes the difference apparent there. I thought I played pretty well overall in this game. I wouldn't really change too much about the way I played. As I said, this was an unfavorable laning matchup. I was sort of blind counterpicked here. Tryndamere right now beats Gangplank very badly in top lane. I've seen it on stream. I pointed to the statistics on LoL statistics that seem to indicate the same thing. And if you find yourself in a matchup like that, even if it's one you can't win, the idea should be minimize the damage, try to keep farming as best you can, and just try to put yourself in a position where you're going to be strong enough to be a real asset to your team later on in the game. And I think I was able to do that. In order to win this game, we would have needed to win some of the other lanes because, again, like I said, I really don't think that I could have won that top lane unless there was just a huge skill difference, unless I was just, far superior in skill to the Tryndamere player, which is clearly not the case. So we would have needed the other lanes to come out ahead, would have needed something to happen elsewhere in the game, and unfortunately their team just came out ahead elsewhere on the map as well and got really strong. Then in late game, their team unfortunately just had 3 people who are all really strong. Vender's Master Yi was doing a lot of damage. He cleaned up a ton of kills at the end of the game in particular. Varus Nox's Tryndamere, who of course I was laning against, and then Help Me Please is Corki. I mean, look at his late game items. He has Manamune, Trinity Force, Black Cleaver, Last Whisper, and another BF sword. So again, he's doing a just massive amount of damage as well. And even though I was a really sturdy tank, I wasn't able to, sort of deal with all of them as well. All 3 of them at the same time. So anyway, did our best at the game, but just wasn't quite enough to overcome the other team, who, again, if you look at the minion kills there as well, pretty seriously out-farmed the rest of our lanes. I think Spreakaway did a very nice job of farming the jungle, but the Duelist and Atomos Core maybe just a little bit low in terms of farm. And again, like I said, don't criticize the Duelist too much. He still is not level 30, and he'll get better with more games. So anyway, I wanted to show this game because I wanted to point out how sort of to play the lanes if you have sort of a really bad laning matchup, how to play against that, and what to do if you get sort of blind counterpicked. Again, play defensive, try to hug your tower, try to hold the tower for as long as possible, and just put yourself in a position where you'll be strong, you'll be in a position to help out late game, and then just wait for the team to make a mistake. So we did our best, but just came out a little bit short in this matchup. Anyway, this is getting really long, so I'll stop it here. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll have more videos up soon. Until then, take care.